Hello, my name is David Stanley, and I manage the course entitled The Spiritual Journey within my school, which is called the Universal Comprehension Academy. Welcome back to the Spiritual Journey, 5th week, 3rd year. Today we will be continuing with the flat Earth theme, comparing the heliocentric Big Bang model and the geocentric creation model, and using our divinatory skills to look at some information and draw some conclusions. Yes, using our psychic skills. Today, the 21st of September, is the last day of summer, and it's the last day of Virgo 2021. Unfortunately, Keith has had a last-minute domestic problem, so he'll be watching the recording. So hi Keith, see you soon. Yeah, it's 11:30, and well, we'll see you next time. Okay, as we did last week, see you in the week, and we can discuss things off the YouTube channel. So it would be a good idea to spend 10 minutes to watch the video, which is entitled Flat Earth, Flat Galaxy, and in brackets, with Dave Weiss from the Flat Earth podcast. Yes. Now the link will be in the description below the YouTube video, and for members it will be on the text for this meeting will be on the Thinkific Universal Comprehension Academy website, and there will be a link in the description below the YouTube video. So we've got all the links there. And so coming back to this week, remember what we looked at last week. Now, again, I've got links for this. America was trying to stay out of the war. That's the Second World War. And then, remember, we looked at Operation Deep Freeze was the code name for a series of scientific expeditions to Antarctica in 1955-56. Link for that. And there's a video link for Operation High Jump, yes, which was run by Admiral Richard E. Byrd, and there's a video for that too, and a link. There are more Flat Earth research videos on the Universal Comprehension Academy Google website. Yes, there's a link for the website there. Now, you can also look at the video from the edge of the flat Earth, the ice wall, which is Antarctica. According to the flat Earth theory, our world is surrounded by mountains, which is the Antarctic. Yes, the Antarctic mountains, they surround our world, a big circle of something like 49,000 miles. Now, there's a link for Jules Verne. We had a look at that last week as well. And the Smoky God book, the author Willis George Emerson. And once again, there's a thing from the article that hopefully Keith read, from Admiral Byrd, called The Nazarian Bloodline. Yes. And there's the link for the full interview of Admiral Byrd talking about Antarctica, secret, flat globe or hollow Earth. Link for that. A link for the Antarctic Treaty. Yes. And 1958, NASA was created by a Nazi German rocket scientist, And the gravestone, on the gravestone, is Psalm 19.1, and there's a link for that as well. Flat Earth Werner von Braun leaves us a message on his gravestone. That's the video. So returning to this week's course, yes, long introduction, I'm afraid. Flat Earth background history. Remember, the Arctic North Pole is not really accessible for independent research, and it's incredibly difficult terrain. Yes, whilst independent research to Antarctica is impossible because of the treaty, which will last until beyond 2040. Yes, it would be useful to watch the first 25 minutes or so of the video. Is the Earth flat? Yes, where a researcher, Kenny, explains his theory of the flat Earth from a point of view of the syncretism of Santos Bonacci. And he's put together from many different ancient biblical, Hindu, Vedic, and ancient cultural texts. Yes, that's his syncretism. He shows the model that he has created, including lands inside the Arctic Circle and continents beyond the Antarctic Circle. Yes. Now, Keith has already watched the first 23 minutes, so I wonder what he thought of it. Now, here is the link for further research. A computer model based on Kenny's model with added research and ideas. Remember, the controlling class, the so-called elites, most probably know this already, as they have been working on it for at least 100 years or 1,000 years. Yes, and so there's a link for that as well. It's called the Cosmic Egg Universe Geocentric 3D model, mirrored from Norbzworld channel. Yes. So coming back to NASA, Nazi founder von Braun. So why would a Nazi who was actively promoting the spinning ball, Big Bang Theory, leave the world with Psalm 19.1 to think about? Yes, it's on his gravestone. This is all very interesting for our spiritual, detective, divinatory life. When we wish to discover the truth, especially when we research Operation Paperclip. Now, Operation Paperclip was a secret United States intelligence program. Yes, emphasis on secret. I didn't find out about it until a few years ago, about 5 years ago, and I was shocked then. Yes, in which more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians were taken from former Nazi Germany to the US for government employment. There's a link for that, Wikipedia link. A group of Nazi scientists saved after the war to help rebuild our world. From the word Nazi, we get NASA, who have a budget of billions a year so that their scientists can take us into space. Yes. Over 1,600 Nazis working for the government makes me think of Tarot card 16, the falling tarot, with the moon clearly in the background. The objective of NASA and the Apollo mission was to explore the moon. Well, fair enough. But from another source, around the same time, we hear it is impossible to land on the moon because it is not a solid object, as we would think, but made of some sort of plasma. Yes, and that ties up with my esoteric knowledge. Yes, now there is a video of this on the Flat Earth channel, video on scientific claim 1965, scientist claims the moon is plasma. So you can have a look at that. It sounds reasonable to imagine that the correct meaning of the acronym NASA is not a space agency. Yes, not a space agency, NASA. There is also reasonable proof that the moon landings were fake. There's a video for the fake moon landing starring Werner von Braun, our Nazi. Now, testing the globe, examining the preponderance of evidence. That's the whole idea. So don't be fooled by pictures and images one can see about space. Yeah, stars, nebulas, galaxies, etc. Because they are all an artist's concept to help explain a scientific theory. Yes, and we have to put the emphasis on theory. Yes. For example, all the planet images we see are an artist's conception, not real and not photos. But don't take my word for it. Do some research. In other words, they have perfected space art to the point that a majority of people think it's real. An image that looks like a photo, but it's only an artist's conception. It's as real as Disney World. Yes, if you like cartoons, yeah, it's very real. So, Space is Fake by Paul on the Plane. This is a video that you can watch. The link will be under the YouTube video. And part 2 by Rob Skiba, yes, and that's from the Flat Earth International Conference 2019. That's another video, the Flat Earth International Conference. Yes, a lot of people, there are millions of people that understand that from their conception, the Earth is flat. However, the moon mission did one great service for the British Crown and governments, protecting the Antarctic and any independent exploration beyond the ice wall. Remember, Flat Earth theory is we are surrounded by an ice wall. It made the Flat Earth theory seem preposterous, flying to the moon, and the spinning ball theory won the day, all with the help of a small army of Nazis. Yes, because the Nazis were absorbed into NASA and into the CIA and the FBI. Yes. Now, when I read such things, as a concerned veteran, yes, it makes me put my hat on. As a military veteran, this very nasty situation makes me shudder. So, on with the background history. Yes. The European Economic Community, EEC, was a regional organization that aimed to bring about economic integration among its member states. It was created by the Treaty of Rome of 1957. Upon the formation of the European Union in 1993, the EEC was incorporated as it became a company and renamed the European Community, the EC. Yes. That same year, 1958, a new Europe was beginning to form up, and a new world order was being set up with the UN. Yes, which incidentally, you can do your own research on this, but the UN absorbed those Nazi scientists as well. Yes, they went all over the place. Who, by the way, have a flag. This is the UN with the flat Earth map surrounded by laurel leaves. Just as Caesar had won the day, a new JC for the whole world, a UN JC. Yes, a link for the UN history. It's on the text notes. So it does make one curious about what they are doing in the Arctic and the Antarctic region with operations such as High Jump 1946 to 47. Yeah, we've got a link for that. Operation High Jump, officially titled the United States Navy Antarctic Development Program 1946 to 1947, was a United States Navy operation to establish the Antarctic Research Base, Little America. The operation was organized by Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd, Jr., officer in charge, Task Force 68, and led by Rear Admiral Ethan Eric Lawson, USN Commanding Officer, Task Force 68. Operation High Jump commenced 26 August 1946 and ended in late February 1947. Task Force 68 included 4,700 men, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft. And NASA's Operation Icebridge 2018, we've got a link for that. Operation Icebridge is an ongoing NASA mission, yes, which remember is not a space agency, to monitor changes in polar ice, of course. Yes, it is an airborne follow-on mission to the ICES at satellite, continuing after the ICESat-2 mission launch in September 2018. Researchers with NASA's Operation Icebridge recently completed a 5-week field campaign based out of Punta Arenas, Chile, from October 12th to October 8th. Icebridge researchers, this is in 2008, Icebridge researchers gathered 2018, gathered valuable information on land and sea ice during its 16 science missions over Antarctica. Yeah, Antarctica. Of course, they will give us an official story, but that will be just a cover-up for what's really being done. Yes, by an army of NASA Nazi scientists. So if we continue with our detective work, then we will find in 1958 Encyclopedia America or in Encyclopedia Britannica, that the Firmament dome was discovered in Antarctica. This Antarctic passage was then banned from later editions. Quote from the Encyclopedia Americana: the flights proved that the inland areas to be featureless in character, with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees north, etc. Now see the video link for that. There is also a report from a helicopter pilot who was working in the Antarctic alongside the scientists that the firmament has been studied and it is made of frozen oxygen. Yes, which gives it a blue color. Now, there's a link for that. Yes, so interesting idea. The firmament is frozen oxygen, which would be quite natural. Remember the quote from the CIA director, William Casey. Yes, this is from CIA director. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. Yes. William Casey, CIA director. Source: Barbara, forgive my pronunciation, Honegger, assistant to the chief domestic policy advisor to President Reagan, from first staff meeting in 1981. There's a link for that. Now, there is a musical and comical video entitled Space is Fake, and the flat Earth man exposes space fraud. So they're singing about this. Now, being a spiritual detective, one must question everything to arrive at the truth. We've already looked at the book, 1984. One of the passages that stick out is wars and rumors of wars. Yes, there is a psychological game going on to make the masses believe what is not true and believe what is a lie. Yeah, so it's a topsy-turvy world. Believe what is a lie. Indeed, the saying goes, it is easier to fool someone than to convince them that they have been fooled. Yes. For instance, the world could easily be fooled into believing that an orbit exists and thus we live on a ball. Consider the fragile state of mind of people after the war in 1945. Everybody wanted to believe the government at that time, which was infested by Nazis. Yes. So when they were told, when we were told, Russians had put a satellite into orbit, into lower space, we believed them. There were photos to back up the claim. Yes, and the sound of the satellite could be heard all over the world. But that was an easy thing to fake. They could send up balloons all around the flat Earth, 10, even 20, to make the sounds, make it seem like a satellite that we couldn't see was up in orbit. A perfect Pearl Harbor scenario to start a new Cold War. Can you hear the satellites beeping? Beep, beep. Yes, everybody could hear that, and fear was in the heart. Personally, I do not believe that there was any satellites in orbit, just satelloons. Satellites on enormous helium balloons. NASA is the world's #1 user of helium, and of course, all those Nazis make me highly suspicious of their motives. There's a link for on marker balloons, yes. Now, further, in 1962, there was Operation Fishbowl near the equator. Operation Fishbowl was a series of high-altitude nuclear tests in 1962 that were carried out by the United States as part of the larger Operation Dominic nuclear test program. It seems they were trying to break open the dome with high altitude explosions. Now, I think we ought to finish there for this week, and we'll come back to this next week as spiritual detectives. Yes. So it's bye from me, and I'll see you next week with hopefully with Keith, who I know is busy. He told me he's going to the hospital, in fact, but that's another story. So bye for now, and I'll see you next week. Over and out. Bye.